Welcome to Carolina Classrooms. I'm Lemuel Watson, your host, former Dean for the College of Education at the University of South Carolina, and currently Executive Director for the Center of Innovation in Higher Education. Our last episode was about making college affordable. But now that you've gotten the finances in order, how do you know if your student is really ready to go to college or out into the workforce? What does it mean to be ready? I'm extremely excited to have a wonderful panel of experts, the best minds in South Carolina, to share their wisdom and knowledge about college readiness and career readiness. Joining us are Dr. Sheila Quinn, Deputy Superintendent for the Division of Innovation and Effectiveness in South Carolina Department of Education. We have Melanie Barton, Executive Director of South Carolina Education Oversight Committee. We have Dr. Tim Hardy, President of the South Carolina Technical College System, and Dr. Peggy Torrey, Director of Transform SC. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you.
You know, 21st century skills and what does it all mean? And I think it's very important that we help teachers and parents understand how does South Carolina fit within all of this. So Dr. Quinn, let's start with you. What does it all mean, college readiness, career readiness, and skills?
You know, in the past, it was enough just to get a high school diploma and walk across the stage and think about what you want to do with your future. But now, in the present, that's not enough. Now, what we want for our high school graduates, when they walk across that stage, is tangible evidence that they're ready for the next step. Sometimes that means performance on a college entrance examination that shows you're ready, or a workforce examination that shows you're ready. Sometimes that's the compilation of good coursework in a particular field, our CATE courses, our arts courses, with industry certifications that show you're ready. And so now that's really the new normal for us, is trying to make sure that when you walk across the stage, there's some kind of evidence that shows you're ready for the next step.
So how do the graduates of South Carolina compare to other states?
Many states are moving in the direction that South Carolina is moving. I think we've done some pretty terrific work in the state in defining what a college-ready and career-ready graduate should look like. We've gotten a lot of national acclaim for our profile of the South Carolina graduate. But many states are aligning their K-12 public education systems with some idea of what the next steps are for students. In the past, again, we've tended to prepare students through a liberal arts focus and then said to students, okay, now go find your specialty niche. Now we're saying you can find that earlier. And so many states are looking for ways to get students good counseling, beginning in elementary and middle school, and particularly into the high school years, to see where their talents and their interests can intersect, and they can begin doing some of that coursework in high school.
Okay, thank you. So, what is this South Carolina profile? What does that all mean? Melanie, would you start with that?
The profile of the graduate was developed by our school administrators in South Carolina originally to say what skills, knowledge, and dispositions or characteristics students need to be successful. It covers your basic core learning in your English, math, science, social studies, and then it really takes it up the next step and says we need kids who can think critically, solve problems. That's probably the number one critical component that we need for all of our graduates. They've got to be able to solve problems that we don't even know that are going to be in the future. Perseverance, integrity, those soft skills that business and industry say we need people to come and work for us who can work collaboratively with one another and solve the problems of our industry.
Okay, so this question with rural versus urban education, how do we deal with all of that to make sure all of our students are meeting a requirement? What does that look like across our state?
I think, I'll start. It means access to certain courses and opportunities. I think that is the number one issue in the Abbeville Equity lawsuit. Do our students throughout South Carolina have the access to college preparatory courses, as well as those career courses, those CATE courses, that are aligned to the business and industry needs that we have in the state? I think that's the disconnect that we've really got to put more focus on, is saying in our high schools, and most of our students are going to stay here or move across South Carolina, what are those jobs for the future that we know are there? And those jobs, 2/3 of those jobs are going to require post-secondary education or a credential. And then we're only at 41% now. So that is the gap that we've got to close. And that gap is also in our inner cities. So that's what we've got to focus on, is preparing more students for the jobs that honestly are here right now.
Okay.
And I would just add to that that our General Assembly has been very kind to us this year. They gave us a $3 million pot of money to give to some of our districts who have been giving these industry credential tests in high school. And so we were able to give each district $326 per student, per credential that they sit for. So if they sit for more than one credential, they can use that pot of money. That's helping to provide some access across some of our rural areas where we have not had the ability to, for students haven't had the ability to pay for those industry credentials.
Okay. Peggy? Yes.
I was just going to add, Melanie brought up the soft skills, and I think our business community has been very adamant for years that they can teach certain technical skills, although they would like for them to have them when they come. They can teach certain knowledge, although they would like for them to have it when they come. But what they want them to come and bring to them is those soft skills. And you know, we use a statistic all the time that 46% of folks lose their first job within the first 18 months, and 90% of those lose it because of soft skills, not because they don't know something or can't do something technically. So we've got to make sure in our preparation that we're attending to those things as well as to the academics and the technical pieces.
I see. So the technical college system seems to be right in the middle. I know you guys do a lot of things and are well known across the country for some of your apprenticeship programs. How does the technical college system work with high school teachers in order to help that transition to careers in college?
Well, I think in South Carolina, we really want the system to be viewed as seamless. We want the K-12 system and the technical colleges around the state to be viewed as working really hand in hand. We serve about 250,000 residents of the state right now through our technical colleges. And while we teach English, history, math, and science courses, the reality is we're in the economic development business as well. We're developing the workforce for the Boeings and BMWs and Volvos, and our role is really to prepare that skilled workforce, and we do that best by partnering with the K-12 system to bring students along so that they're ready for that high-paying job here in the state. About 95% of our students through the technical college system are actually South Carolina residents, and they want to live and work here in the state. And we feel like through the technical college system, we can provide that opportunity for them to live here in South Carolina, but not just live here, but have a great job opportunity as well.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I know we talk a lot about economic development and industry, and we talk a lot about the technical jobs. What about jobs in the field of arts and specifically now some of the humanities? How do we keep all those in mind as we talk about career and college readiness and the workforce? Any of you want to add in on that?
I can tell you that in the public schools, we spend a lot of time in the middle school and early high school looking at all 16 career clusters, including the arts and the humanities and those. And there's very focused, structured guidance lessons on what career opportunities exist across all 16 of those career clusters. Because we do have many students who choose to use their electives to really explore those areas. And I have to give a lot of credit to our arts group in the state. They are very active, they are very smart, and they have done a lot of work this spring as we've been looking at our new accountability system to define what does college and career ready look like in the arts. So we're excited about that work and see how they unveil that. It aligns coursework in high school to ways that students can distinguish themselves in the arts individually and ultimately get into college with those distinguished criteria.
Okay.
Really just tied to that is you tend to think of programs like welding that we offer through the technical college system as a construction job as a welder, but the reality is we have many students that take the skills they use in those welding programs and turn it into sculpting. And it's an excellent job opportunity for them it's arts in the sense for them, they don't really plan on using it as a way to work for a construction company across the state of South Carolina, but they've learned that skill through the technical college system to be an arts-related job.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I would be remiss not to give a little bit of credit to our new standards in the arts. For the first time, I think we're the very first state to do this. We've implemented a new design sequence, and so it is to marry the things that you're doing in the career areas, in the technical areas, with the ability to create and design. And so that strand of standards are really, really strong, and it's exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
And one of the world-class skills on the profile of the graduate is creativity and innovation. And those standards, I think, built in that piece as well. We know research shows that, you know, math ability is enhanced and all sorts of abilities are enhanced if you have the artistic side and creative side, and you enhance that through your academics.
So Melanie, what do you think are some of the challenges to helping us produce the best graduates in the state?
Well, we have a huge challenge in communicating this message, which I'm thankful for this show to start that dialogue. We've got to communicate to parents and students earlier on about the importance of thinking post-secondary, college, and career. Because all those students are going to need to be in a career, whether they go to college or go directly into a career. And we've got to communicate what those opportunities are in South Carolina. And we've got to get the whole K-12 school involved in that. We can't leave it up to guidance counselors. They have a huge job already. It's got to be the teachers in the classroom. It's got to be the parents. And we've got to empower students, because, to be honest, those are the stakeholders that matter the most. And with social media and STEM Premier and things like that are now available to students, that's the number one area we've got to get to. We've got to tell them, you know, it's okay to take these harder courses because they're going to prepare you for the future. If I had it to do over with my own children, I would have insisted that they take some CATE courses. I would have insisted on that, because it gives them a different viewpoint on what life is going to be down the road. So I would tell parents, you know, let your child explore in the high school years, but they really need to start thinking there is an end. You know, I may change my job 30 times in my lifetime, but I need to be thinking about the relevance of what I do when I graduate.
I see, okay. So Transform SC, they have a number of schools they're working with. So can you tell us what you guys are doing with those schools to get students ready for the 21st century?
Sure. In our schools, they use different innovative approaches, included project-based learning, blended learning, competency-based education, those kinds of things. But they all blend those world-class skills and knowledge with the rest of the profile, I would say the other two-thirds. When you have to work as a team, when you have to think creatively, when you have to problem solve, when you have to be flexible, when you have to communicate to stakeholders, and they do, it just develops a more well-rounded student. And we believe that they are working hard on thinking through ways not only to teach everything on the profile, but to assess everything on the profile. And it's a different world for teachers, and I think there's a little bit of trepidation in some of those things because they're not quite as easy to measure as some of the academics are. And we did a parent poll, I'll tell you this very quickly, but we did a statewide parent poll in the fall asking parents about soft skills and the importance of soft skills. And 99% of the parents felt that the school had some role with them in helping students be prepared in those areas. So there's a lot of support, I think, for innovation out there, and we really appreciate all the partnerships we have with everybody on the panel to make that work.
Okay. Now, I know there's, we talk a lot about high schools, but we know we need to make sure our adult population has the opportunity and access to return also to get those skills. Dr. Hardy, could you talk a little bit about the partnership that you may have with folk around the state to work with the adult learner? Well,
our average age at the 16 technical colleges is about 25, so we obviously do serve that population. It's an interesting piece that last year, 2016, the state of South Carolina at BMW produced 400,000 vehicles. The Dreamliner with Boeing, 12 Dreamliners a month that they build, and in South Carolina we produce 100,000 tires a day. Those are staggering numbers, but it also addresses the fact that you need a skilled workforce to do that, and how we accomplish that is the people here on the panel today is really that partnership piece of us to be able to work with business and industries, but also, like Melanie mentioned earlier, the fact that parents, guidance counselors, district administrators, and how that really works together for us to form that partnership to, at the back end, produce a highly skilled employee for us. You mentioned earlier about the apprenticeship piece. Here in the state of South Carolina, we now have over 17,000 apprentices.
Wow, that's wonderful.
That's taking place, and the program actually only started, Peggy's familiar with this, but back in 2007. So just in 10 years, it's gone from not existing to there are 17,000 people across the state that are serving as apprenticeships. And that model provides the opportunity, you mentioned the mentoring piece earlier, for them to work into that higher skilled job, and many times Sheila knows we have youth apprenticeship programs that are even available across the state now.
Sure, okay. Could any of you talk about the career and technical education centers and the graduate individual plan? Could you tell teachers and parents a little bit about that?
I'll start with that, and I know Dr. Hardy will probably want to jump in. We are in the busy season for the individual graduation plans. We typically start those in the spring semester. They go all year, but they're really heavy in the spring. In fact, I just attended one as a parent last week. And in those IGPs, you really sit down and look at your test data, you look at your school performance, you look at your course history, and you start to really have that focused conversation. It looks like your aptitude is leading you here. How does that intersect with your interest? What does the field of South Carolina need right now? Is this a good career opportunity for you? And you have all of those conversations in the IGP process. Many students are guided through great career and technology courses, and we're looking in that IGP process to encourage students to be a CATE completer, where they complete at least 4 courses in a sequence so that they have a focus of interest and can hopefully show an industry credential at the end of that.
Wonderful, okay.
I'll just add to that what we're starting to see more and more of is a partnership with the CATE centers around the state and the technical colleges that enable students to actually start work towards their college degree while they're still in high school. Dual enrollment opportunities. Historically in the state, we've done that in what I would call general education areas, but we're seeing that more into programs like mechatronics and engineering graphics, that students are able many times to complete the first year of a 2-year degree while they're still in high school and start that process towards the career field they really want to enter, but have an opportunity to do that, and certainly a cost savings to parents, but also gets them into the workforce sooner.
Okay.
So it's a great partnership for us.
Thank you. Do any of you have a burning statement about college readiness, career readiness that you would like to get?
Let me just say one thing. Less than half of the students nationwide take a college or career courses in high school. New 2016 report by Education Trust. That's where it really starts. They've got to be in the courses to prepare them for being college career. So parents, make sure your students are in the right courses in high school.
Thank you.
And we do have a growing early college movement in South Carolina, and so I would encourage parents to ask about that. Rural and urban schools are offering that, and it's a great way to not only help with tuition, but to get some of those courses under your belt early.
Thank you.
I would say from my side, just the reality that for many students, I mentioned our average age of 25, that the more we can do as a state to encourage students to directly after high school graduation to enter higher education. Sometimes it can be the technical college system or the 4-year system. Either is certainly depends upon the student and what their needs are, but just the reality that it benefits us as a state to have students to have that seamless transition from K-12 to higher education, rather than them, I'll call it, sitting on the sidelines for 10 years and really wasting that decade. We see so many students that come to the technical college system that's the model, if you will, and we need to transition that to entering directly out of high school.
Okay.
And I would end that to say, use your senior year wisely. Don't try to take early release or late start for nothing. If you're going to do that, do an apprenticeship. Do something that's going to really be meaningful for you.
I am so honored to have each of you here tonight, and so thank you for your time and effort and all that you do for South Carolina. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What were your career ambitions when you were in 6th grade? At Crossroads Intermediate School in Lexington, Richland, District 5, the students want to be firefighters, veterinarians, and professional athletes. School counselor Laura Yancey Jones and her team are teaching them the skills they need to prepare for future careers.
Through all the things we've done as ambassadors this year, how are these things that you can use beyond life at Crossroads when you're getting ready for college or for whatever career you decide to go into?
If you really want your dream job, you have to show the interviewer that you're confident enough to take on that job and fulfill it to the best of your ability. That shows that you have to try your hardest, and these skills can help us grow as a person and getting jobs that we want. So we have to pay attention now because it can always help us in the future.
The ambassador program started several years ago by the school counseling department as a way to train students to do tours for guests who come to school, for new students.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
They've learned some skills that are really going to be helpful and transferable throughout their life that not all people or students have the opportunity to do. Those are important things. Learning how to introduce yourself, learning how to present yourself, giving a proper handshake. All of those things are crucial and important, especially when they're competing for jobs and careers and college. They've got to be able to stand out, and this is an opportunity for them to do that.
It doesn't just help you in the future, but it can help you like now. Like when you're giving a presentation in front of your class, you're able to articulate and project your voice so everyone can hear you.
They can help you feel more confident when you're doing what you want to do.
Hi, my name's Landon.
We also want them to recognize that you can find out what your interests are, what you're really good at, what your talents are, and how that works for you and can transfer into a career someday. Getting them to start seeing what are their strengths, what are they really good at, what do they like to do, and how to make a career out of that someday. This is the age where they really start to explore those things.
Also at this age, a lot of them say, well, I want to be a basketball player or a football player. And that's what they see as their main goal. So we have to kind of get them to understand and realize not everybody gets to play pro ball.
We try to find in these children different opportunities to let them shine.
You can almost see their futures in their eyes. You know, you think it's a young age and they're just starting out, but you can actually see their lives ahead of you, their path through this program. It's very awesome.
Superintendent Molly Spearman is proud of the efforts the South Carolina Department of Education is making to prepare students for college and the workforce.
We really have some outstanding programs across the state, outstanding career centers. Some are located at high schools. Some districts choose to do that at a different location and where they have multiple high schools so students come together to learn. Those have been outstanding, and really South Carolina has been a leader in the country in the programs. We have schools that students can go to those programs and really walk right into the workforce upon graduation from high school. The newest thing that we have, though, are youth apprenticeship programs, and South Carolina, again, is a leader in the nation in which are for 16 to 18-year-olds. So students are taking courses in high school, but they're also going and getting credit working in a business. It may be at a large industry, or it could be in a mom and pop business where they go in and they are learning the skills, and they're actually getting credit that will be used toward their high school graduation, toward industry certification, and they're getting paid a little bit too. So that is our newest focus, and the U.S. Department of Labor has given us awards that we're leading in the country in the programs that we're offering there.
How is the preparation paying off for students? We asked recent graduates if they felt they were prepared for college.
I think that in high school, my high school classes made me realize how important it was, to buckle down when it came to my academics. But it wasn't until I got to college that I actually learned specifically how to buckle down, because it wasn't until I got to college that I had to learn true time management skills. That was a big thing for me in my freshman year. It was tough to manage all my classes on top of all the studying, because in high school I did have to study, but the studying was different, because in high school the teachers, or at least in my experience, the teachers sort of held your hand along the way, but in college it wasn't like that. A lot of the learning was independent, and I was responsible for learning the material. It wasn't on the professor, it was on me. So that was something I had to adjust to.
I didn't start asking questions until I got to college. I wasn't, and I don't want to say it's bad, but I'm not really a person who asks questions until I get into the situation. So when it wasn't until I got into college that a bunch of questions just started rolling off my head, like, you know, how best do I need to do a resume, or, you know, what do I need to do to put myself in a position to make sure I can get the best grade out of a class, or, you know, what kind of study habits and tips do I need? How do I need to set up my schedule for my classes to make sure that I'm getting enough rest and to make sure that I have a balance in my life between social and academic and anything else I want to do.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Join us March 29th for our next episode of Carolina Classrooms as we turn our attention to educators. We'll talk with the Executive Director of the Center for Educator Recruitment, Retention, and Advancement about increasing shortages of teachers in South Carolina and what programs are in place to train and recruit new teachers. Send us your comments and questions to carolinaclassrooms@scetv.org. And you can find us online at scetv.org/Carolina Classrooms.